stacking every month. Put that work in, I deserve to stand. Bring the baddies to the front. It's the type of life that I want. It's the type of life that I want. It's the type of life that I want. Yeah. It's the type of life that I want. It's the type of life that I want. Look, I deserve some time away. I feel good cause I'm posted. Just won't put my feet in the sand. Ain't tryna be far from oceans. Don't want stress about nothing, just fruit and wine, I'm floating.
All right, what's up, guys? Back at you with another video. We're going to talk about another draft prospect on today, Mykel Williams. Definitely one of my favorite young guys in here. Love his athletic abilities and what he's able to bring to the table. And I definitely think that he's going to be on the Detroit Lions big board. When it comes to being able to scout an edge, you want to get somebody that is a physical specimen, but not only a physical specimen, he's athletic and he's able to get to the quarterback as well as be able to stop the run. And that's what Detroit is going to be looking to do. We know what Brad Holmes likes to bring to the table. He likes to get those guys that can set the edge, those guys that are good against the run, and that they can also penetrate and get to the quarterback as well. And Mykel Williams definitely is one of my favorite young guys in here. He doesn't have all the sacks like a lot of guys. He doesn't have all the experience as other guys, but his athletic ability and his proudness to get to the quarterback shows on film. And definitely, man, I love it. I love it, man. So we're going to get into his draft bio and kind of go over it and let you guys kind of know, what we're looking at when we're talking about Mr. Mykel Williams. All right, let's go ahead and get into his draft bio. Okay, Mykel Williams stands at about 6'5". He's about 265 pounds. He's around the size that you really want at the defensive edge position. Definitely, he has very long arms, and that's what you need, especially going against these tackles who have very long arms. But you need this type of player. But we know that the Georgia Bulldogs, have definitely had some talented players come into the NFL, and a lot of those Georgia players end up on the Philadelphia Eagles. So a lot of those players that come from Georgia get drafted by the Eagles. It's kind of crazy, but it just happens that way. But definitely the Lions don't want to miss out on a talented guy like Mykel Williams, who's a very young guy and things of that nature. And he has the tools that you want at the position. He has what you need to be able to groom and to be that guy to come alongside and play along Aiden Hutchinson. Let's get into it. Okay, let's get into the bio of Williams. Williams is a physical specimen who emerged from the talented, rich state of Georgia. Mykel Williams has been turning heads since his days of dominating the high school ranks at Hardaway High School in Georgia. The Columbus native arrived in Athens as a 5-star recruit and immediately showed why, earning freshman All-American honors while flashing the kind of raw power and athletic traits that had the SEC offensive coordinators losing sleep. Williams' journey through Georgia's defensive pipeline has been marketed by steady growth and moments of pure dominance. Despite playing in a deep rotation that limited his snap counts, he managed to rack up impressive production when on the field, including a statement performance against Texas in the 2024 SEC Championship, where he notched 2 sacks and had 5 quarterback pressures. His versatility has been on full display, lining up everywhere from 4-tech to standing up as an edge rusher. The 6'5", 265-pound defender has steadily built his resume over 3 seasons in Athens, earning second-team All-SEC honors in 2023 and 2024. While his raw numbers might not jump off the page at you, his impact goes well beyond the stat sheet. Just ask any offensive tackle who had to deal with the combination of length, power, and surprising quickness off the edge. So we're going to get into his strengths and his weaknesses. His strengths is he showcases a raw power at the point of attack, consistently controlling blocks with violent hands and creating separation that allows him to track the ball carriers effectively. He brings a scheme versatility in space, can play with his hands in the dirt, or he can do it standing up, showing equal comfortability when rushing the quarterback from multiple alignments. Natural leverage player who excels at setting the edge strong, using his length and heavy hands to stack and shed blocks with authority. Demonstrates advanced recognition skills in the run game, rarely getting caught up out of position and misdirection out of zone reads. Brings a nasty and a powerful bull rush that can collapse the pocket, showing the ability to convert speed to power. And that's something that the Detroit Lions need. They need a guy that can play with speed to power and walk back tackles into the quarterback. That's what they truly need. A guy that's athletic, a guy that can get to the quarterback, and a guy that has an array of moves. He possesses an elite motor that never quits, consistently showing up in the backside and pursuit and in late games when others are gassed. Displays an impressive lateral agility for his size, particularly when working in line games and stunts when interior defenders. Shows natural instincts as a pass rusher with the ability to counter and adjust his pass rush plans at a mid-snap based upon offensive line sets. So he is one of those guys that can change it up. He's not one of those guys that's going to stay the same when he's coming out there with his different array of moves and things of that nature. But he is a young guy that is very athletic, and he's one of those dudes that you would take in his draft because he's one of those guys that you can groom. And sometimes, I'm going to say this for the record, though. Sometimes when you get in the NFL, you don't have the best college career. Sometimes guys get in the NFL and they kill it. It's kind of funny sometimes where a guy doesn't really dominate with the stats in college, but when he gets to the NFL, the dude you can't stop the guy. You cannot stop this guy. He takes off and really takes off in the NFL. And that happens for some players. And Mykel Williams could be one of those guys where as though his numbers didn't blow you out the wall. He didn't have like 18 sacks or, you know what I'm saying? He didn't have like 72 pressures and all this type of stuff. He didn't have all these great numbers, but he showed you through his athletic ability that he's able to do some damage out on the field. Now we're going to talk about his weaknesses as well. Can be a tad bit late off the snap at times, giving up the edge before his natural athleticism can take over and compromising his rush angle sometimes. Needs to develop a more diverse pass rush arsenal. Currently relies too heavily on power moves and hasn't shown the consistent ability to win with speed. Now, one thing in the NFL is that the reason why we always say that defensive linemen need to have an array of moves is because you're going to go against weekly, you're going to be going against different tackles, and some tackles don't require the same type of moves. You're going to have to be able to do chops. You're going to have to be able to do swims, dips, whatever it takes to be able to spin moves, whatever it takes to be able to get to the quarterback and put pressure on the running back as well, stopping him in the backfield. So that's what you need to be able to have as a defensive end, setting that edge and being able to play with speed to power. Then will occasionally play too high in his stance, especially when he's fatigued. So, you know, when guys get tired, he can start playing high and things of that nature. Instead of going up low and going underneath a guy, you can get fatigued. And all players do. All players get fatigued. So that's nothing. Allowing offensive linemen to get into his frame and control his momentum shows some inconsistency with his hand placement in his pass rush at times, particularly when attempting to execute his swim moves in space. Could improve his ability to recognize and react to pulling guards, occasionally getting caught up in traffic when he should be setting the edge. So no prospect that comes into the NFL is a perfect player. Everybody has things that they need to work on and get better on. I don't care who it is, all the way from the first round to the 7th round. No perfect player is coming into the NFL. Everybody has things that they need to work on and get better. And if the Lions feel that Mykel Williams is one of those guys that they can work with and be able to get something out of him, then definitely he's going to be on the big board. And he's going to be one of the guys that they draft. You know, you can't go wrong with these Georgia Bulldogs, man. These guys like Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and things of that nature, and Nolan that's over there with the Eagles, man. These guys have come into the NFL and they're straight balling. And I think the same thing with Williams because he has the upsize, he has the athletic ability to be able to do some dangerous things out on the field. It's just being drafted to the right team and being drafted to the right situation that will allow him to flourish. So guys, I want to give a little summary on Williams. Williams presents one of the most fascinating evaluations in this class, a prospect whose film shows flashes of dominance, but also stretches where he leaves you wanting more. His combination of power, length, and natural athleticism screams first-round talent, but the inconsistent production and technical rawness makes us think that he has a hint of a boom or a bust about him. But the thing about it is, we never know who's going to be a boom and a bust until they suit up on Sundays. Some guys that they think there's going to be a bust ends up being a boom. Sometimes it's vice versa. So it is what it is. The Georgia product could develop into a game-wrecking force if he can harness his physical gifts and expand his pass rush arsenal. However, there's a legitimate concern that he might never progress beyond being a quality run defender who occasionally flashes in the passing game. His snap count limitations and reliance on natural ability over refined technique as an element of protection that will make some teams nervous about him. But the team that drafts Williams will need both patience and an excellent defensive line coach. His profile best is strong as a strong side end in a 4-3 or a 5 technique in an odd front, where his run-stopping prowess can be maximized while his pass rush develops. The ceiling here is a Pro Bowl caliber defender who can take over games, but the floor is a rotational player who never fully realizes his potential. The variance makes him one of this draft's most intriguing first-round gambles in the NFL draft in 2025. So definitely, man, he has what it takes. I believe that this kid definitely has work. There's no prospect that comes into the league that's going to be a surefire. There's some guys that come in and they get it right away. Some guys, they take maybe 2 or 3 years to really, really fine in and get their arsenal together. Mykel Williams, he's so talented where you just figure like, man, I can develop this guy. Standing at a 6'5", 265 pounds, he is the typical prototype of the type of defensive ends that you want in Detroit. He has the athletic ability that you want. I remember years ago when the Lions drafted Ziggy Ansah. I'm not going to say that he reminds me of Ziggy Ansah, but he has the Ziggy Ansah type frame. And you never know, man. Ziggy has some times where he was balling out there, and then he has some times where he didn't look as good. But definitely, man, sky's is the limit with Mykel Williams. Guys, leave it in the comments section on what you think about the Detroit Lions possibly walking away with Mykel Williams in the draft. This is Raw Detroit, and I'm signing out. I'll be back to you soon with another video. Peace.